What does it take to turn a regular car into a race car? Well, today we're going to drive this heavily modified Civic Si and find out exactly what makes it a race car. We're here today thanks to Bridgestone, and they've brought us out to Atlanta Motorsports Park here in Georgia to check out their Bridgestone Potenza line of tires, which is what this Civic Si race car is running. Now, to dive a little deeper into what makes this Civic Si race car a race car, we have Corey here from Honda's team who's going to walk us through it. How's it going, man?
It's doing good. How are you guys been?
Doing very well, especially because we get to be here at the track driving this pretty insane Civic. And the funny thing about this, I mean, there's some obvious things that we'll show that are very different about this car than the factory car, but you actually said that this shares a lot with the standard Civic, right?
Yeah, we try not to veer too far off the path of a stock Civic Si. We add a roll cage, of course, a fuel cell for our endurance racing. Like I said, this is going to be our 25 hours vehicle. We have a race seat, full fire extinguisher system inside.
Right. And you said actually that the fuel cell on this is what, 30 gallons? So
Close to 30-gallon fuel cell.
A lot bigger than a factory Civic tank.
Yes.
And two, obviously the interior is stripped out to shed weight. What is the weight difference on this car from a factory Civic?
Don't quote me, but I believe this car weighs around 2,750 to 2,800 pounds versus a stock one is about 3,200 to 3,300 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so for you guys keeping a lot of factory components on this car, is that part of the race series? Is that a cost thing? Is that a reliability and parts availability thing? Or what is the decision making?
A lot of it is for us to keep reliability and costs down on running a routine race car program for the year.
Right.
But something we can always rely on, the factory parts from Japan and the US, we always know they're going to be reliable.
And two, a big part of that is obviously tires, also brakes, and we're here as part of a Bridgestone event, so you guys are running these Bridgestone Potenza RE71 RS tires, which is a really aggressive tire. And then I'm assuming suspension, brakes, most of all that has been updated as well, right?
Yes, yeah, so to highlight the car, this tire has been amazing for our team. Last year we won first and second in the 25 hours of Thunderhill in our class.
Congrats, that's
and
awesome.
we only changed 2 tires the whole race.
And how many tires would you typically go through?
Last year we did 6 tires, but typically on other brands we've gone 8 or 10 or 12.
Nice. Yeah, so it sounds like pretty good good wear coming from you guys that are racing. Yeah, and then too, of course, brakes are different, suspension is different. Although off camera earlier, you did tell me that actually the rear brake caliper at least is stock, isn't it?
That's correct. That's just the stock SI brake caliper with a little bit more aggressive pad on the back.
Yeah, which is pretty surprising. But most of the rest of it obviously is pretty built out. And then too, I mean, there's a lot of differences. It doesn't look like you guys even have front windows at all, do you?
Yeah, for our series, we have to have no windows. The rear windows are plexiglass to lighten some of the weight.
Yeah.
We do run a door net, and that's required.
Yeah, and then obviously a totally different mechanism for opening. And
this is actually a stock door latch. We just kind of took the handle out and put that one on there.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to see the way that you guys turn these into race cars. I'm assuming the rear door's probably still open too, right?
Yep.
Look at that.
There's a good picture of the fuel cell there.
Are these the same factory door skins, or do you
factory
guys do that
door
too?
skins, factory door jams? Yes, sir.
Wow. So you guys just kind of cut out some of the material here.
Yeah, anything to reduce the weight while we have protection from the roll bar and the safety cage.
Is there a minimum weight requirement with these cars?
For our NASA series, there is a power to weight difference, so we balance that out to meet the requirements of the class that we're racing in.
And then, of course, you've also got a good bit of aero. I mean, in particular, this isn't the first Civic that I've seen with a big wing on the deck lid, but This is probably the most functional wing that I've seen on a Civic.
Yeah, so APR supplies us with a solid wing that allows us to increase a lot of the downforce on the track and make the most use of our tires.
But then, I mean, looking toward the bottom of the car, it doesn't look like super aggressive skirts or aero along the bottom there.
Yeah, just in the bottom of the rear, we don't go too extravagant. The front, we do put a front air dam and a splitter.
Yeah, I see a decent sized splitter up here. And then, of course, you've got some vents here in the hood. So can we pop the hood and?
Yeah, part of the cooling for like endurance racing, we like to cut some holes out for ventilation.
Yeah, because you guys are running for really extended periods of time. And actually, a lot of this looks surprisingly stock.
Yeah, so this is a basic stock 1.5 turbo Honda engine that's just straight from the factory.
Dude, you don't even have a pod filter.
Yep, we use the stock air filter system.
Yeah, honestly, never would have guessed, especially with the way this car sounds, because when you get it out on the track, it sounds really phenomenal. So the exhaust is different.
Yes, the exhaust is basically a straight pipe. We're running an RV6 downpipe and straight pipe all the way through. The turbo tends, on the newer cars these days, it cuts the sound down.
Yeah, it's not crazy loud or anything.
Right.
Do you guys also eliminate some of the emissions equipment or anything? Or
we've kept it kind of stock and run. We've run into issues where we've disconnected stuff, so we just keep it.
Keep it how it was
from the
engineered
factory.
to run.
We do add a cooling radiator, aftermarket coil rad. That keeps us cool during the hot temp sessions.
And then, I mean, is there any real big difference between the power output on this versus stock, or?
We do have a Honda computer on it, and we did basically we want fuel efficiency and a good amount of power and a good balance to last us and reduce the number of fuel stops while we're racing.
One, too, I mean, with an endurance race, it's about longevity, I'm sure, as much as it is about having a car that's quick. So that's probably a big aspect of not wanting to boost the power too high. Is it factory clutch, factory gearbox, that kind of thing?
We have a XCD clutch. They do make our factory clutches, but it's just beefed up a little bit more for clamping strength.
Nice. This Civic is very stripped down. It does not feel like a standard Civic. much of a track driver, but man, still an awesome experience to get to give it a little run. Well, this is a really cool car, so it's a huge thanks to Corey for letting us poke around it, check it out, and also get the car out and drive it, which was a hell of an experience as well. So thank you.
Yeah, we're so glad you had the experience to drive a race car. That's
Absolutely,
amazing.
Yeah. And then too, if you guys want to see any other videos from this Bridgestone event, we had a chance to drive some Nissan Zs, also Acura NSXs, as well as Subaru BRZs in a bunch of different conditions. So go to alltfl.com, check those videos out as well. We'll see you all in the next.